to bring you all the action from the Premier Class for round 11 of the MotoGP World Championship. After the Styrian Grand Prix 1 week ago, round 11 of the MotoGP World Championship is back at the Red Bull Ring again for another Spielberg Classic. With unpredictable weather, will it stay dry or could we be in for a dash and splash? It's race day in MotoGP. One week on from Styria, we're back here at the 4.3 kilometre long layout of the Red Bull Ring. 10 corners, 7 right, 3 left. The best race lap still belongs to Andrea Dovizioso after he won on the Ducati here in 2019. Will we see that beaten here today? The long lap penalty area just at the end there of the start, finish straight into turn 1. Many overtaking hot spots. The favourites though, we love it. Turns 9 and 10, the last 2 corners here. Coming up next in MotoGP, will rookie Martin be living La Vida Loca in Austria again? Quartararo eyes his 8th podium in 11 races as he defends a 40-point lead from second. Pecco wants to power his way back to the podium. The Italian will start from 3rd. And in 4th, Johann Zarco, the Frenchman, smells victory. Can he be the man to keep Ducati's record going here in Austria. It's a warm welcome to you all then. Round 11 of the MotoGP World Championship comes to you from the Red Bull Ring to conclude our back-to-back races here in Austria. The World Championship at the moment going one way. Fabio Quartararo with a 40-point advantage. No matter what happens today, he'll lead going into Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. And at the moment, it's dry, 31-degree air temperature. But there are some clouds hovering over. Now, last week, none of the weather apps predicted the forecast right. It was supposed to rain. It didn't. However, a lot of weather apps again saying that at 2 o'clock, bang on the race time, when we're supposed to start going racing, we're expecting rain. So who knows? At the moment, a lot of fans keeping their eyes up in the sky. The sunglasses are out. The shows have begun. We've got packed grandstands, fantastic atmosphere ahead of this race. Steve Dane, Matt Burton, Simon Crafar to talk you through it, and it will be all eyes on this man as well. The rookie Jorge Martin, back-to-back poles. Can he make it? Back-to-back wins, Matt?
Well, he says right now he's living the dream. He doesn't want to wake up from that dream either, does he? This man, Jorge Martin, what a week it's been so far at the Red Bull Ring in Styria for the Pramac Ducati man. Pole position last weekend for the second time in MotoGP, and then taking a sensational maiden victory, the first Ducati independent team rider to win in MotoGP. And he's back for take two, 28 laps, and Jorge Martin starts from pole position yet again, just the third man since the Q2 format was introduced back in 2013 to come out of Q1 and take pole position.
Fabio Quartararo in charge of the World Championship at the moment, 7 podiums in 10 races. The only man riding in these colours, of course, this weekend after the bombshell news on the eve of this Grand Prix. Maverick Viñales not racing, withdrawn by the team. Will we see him racing for Yamaha again? We'll find out soon. But for now, very much flying the flag for Monster Energy Yamaha, the World Championship leader, Fabio Quartararo.
Yeah, Viñales suspended, and the suspense building here in Austria. Fabio Quartararo, if he can leave Austria with 2 front rows and 2 podiums, that will represent a fantastic 7 days work for the World Championship leader.
Well, the Flying Bulls air display going on here. There's various machinery there to feast your eyes upon. A DC-6 Douglas. I'm not a plane man. I don't know these off by heart. A Lockheed P38 Lightning up in the sky as well. There's a North American P51 Mustang. Brilliant air shows here. That's going to go on for about half an hour. The fans really are treated to so much action here in Spielberg over the course of the weekend. Will this man give them a little treat and a surprise as well? Marc Marquez, he'll be starting from the second row of the grid. He might not mind if it starts to rain a little bit later on.
Yeah, hard to believe at the moment that rain forecast for around race time, 2 p.m. local time, about half an hour away. Although there are a few ominous grey clouds there hovering in the distance as the spectacular Red Bull aerial display gets the MotoGP build-up underway. Great to see full grandstands yet again. This Red Bull Ring race, the first race we expect to have full capacity crowd since Valencia 2019. What about this man, Joan Mir, the reigning world champion on the improving factory Suzuki, of course equipped now with that vital rear ride height device which he used so brilliantly to finish second to Martin here 7 days ago. That came from a slightly harder challenging prospect for the 23-year-old coming up this afternoon. 7th on the Team Suzuki X-Star GSX-RR, Joan Mir, and problems in braking and stopping that Suzuki all weekend. It's not been a problem we've heard Mir talking about much in recent races, but it has been a bit of a hindrance so far this weekend. He might be hoping for some cooler conditions, some cloud cover, just to make sure that those brakes aren't heating up too much and causing him problems. I
would just like to apologise for the rookie Martin pun at the start. I mean, I've been storing that one up for ages.
Yeah. Well, I saw some last weekend about George Martin, of course, the man who helped make the crew of the Beatles. There's been a few puns knocking around. Good one, though. Good one. Like it a lot.
I thought that might be up your street. Here is the Aprilia rider, also riding solo this weekend. Aleix Espargaro, of course, Lorenzo Savadori injured. So Espargaro looking to get himself back into the top 10. There is that Douglas DC6. Only 47 of them in the world still airworthy, believe it or not. And here is a man who hopes he's flying later, although you can see that right wrist still strapped up.
Yeah, a bit of autograph duties for Miguel Oliveira pre-race. A shout from the crowd, a thumbs up. A good luck message as well from his new wife. And of course, parents-to-be. Congratulations to the Oliveira family. You know, it's just going to be a long 28-lap race coming up, though, for Miguel Oliveira, still struggling somewhat with that. Not a fracture in that right hand, but maybe a crack or a hairline fracture in the right hand after the bruising high side in FP1. Seems like a long time ago now. Friday's opening session of the Styrian Grand Prix 9 days ago.
Moto3 rider Filip Salac has posted a story on Instagram 10 minutes away from the Red Bull Ring, and it is absolutely tipping down.
Oh, well, thanks for cheering us up, Philip.
Is that coming this way? That's the big question. It really would throw a massive spanner in the works here this weekend, particularly for the World Championship leader Fabio Quartararo. If dry, he's got a chance of a podium again, and even maybe the win. If it's wet, he may well feel that this is going to be quite a defensive operation. This was the big news story coming into the weekend. Yamaha withdrawing the entry of Maverick Viñales. The team had a look back at the data, had a look back at footage as well. They feel that he was irresponsibly riding their machine, and there has been a gruelling apology from Maverick Viñales. Matt, it remains to be seen whether or not we see a number 12 on that Yamaha at Silverstone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, fair to say he was very contrite, very remorseful about his actions in last weekend's Grand Prix. I'm sure many of you at home, like us, have seen the pretty damning onboard footage. Maverick Viñales over-revving that YZR M1 engine. Seemed like a deliberate intent to sabotage that four-cylinder motor. Will the apology, the grovelling apology, be enough to save what's left of his factory Yamaha career? Well, that's still very much in the pending tray of Yamaha boss Lynn Jarvis. Still to be decided whether Maverick Viñales will be back on the factory Yamaha at the British Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time.
Fantastic aerial show here from the Flying Bulls display team. But just in the background there, a lot of the teams and riders' eyes will be focused on some of those rather darker clouds that have all of a sudden swooped overhead, because honestly, Matt, from the moment we arrived this morning, it's been beautiful here. Yeah, it's been much hotter as well compared to last weekend. We had that wet session, or a wet interruption on Friday. The track did dry out very quickly. That's when we saw Iker Lecuona switch onto slick tyres and set the fastest time in FP2. The problem is what we do know, this Red Bull Ring circuit in full wet conditions, it can make the surface incredibly slippery, very greasy, not a lot of grip around at all. So it's going to be all eyes on the sky over the next 24 minutes or so, particularly for this man, because Fabio Quartararo knows only too well he does not have any kind of confidence-inspiring feeling in rain conditions. His words, not mine, after that wet session on Friday afternoon. In the wet, a horrible feeling on that Monster Energy Yamaha, struggling to get the bike into the corner, struggling to get the bike hooked up on throttle with acceleration and rear grip. It was a very troubled Friday afternoon for Fabio Quartararo. He wants it bone dry again. A slight change to the tyre allocation from last week. That asymmetric front hard tyre on the slicks anyway was removed. Are we going to see these medium and soft wet tyres? Could we see flag to flag? There's still 25 minutes to go until we go racing as well. Well, last night when we were driving back to the nearby Leoben, about a half an hour drive away from this Red Bull Ring circuit, it was bone dry, beautiful weather when we left the Spielberg track, and literally 10 minutes up the road there'd been heavy rain falling for quite some time. So in this part of the world, we're nestled in the heart of the Styrian Mountains. We can have a bit of a microclimate. The weather can be very localised.
But yeah, there's going to be a few tentative faces on the grid. Not more so than the man who'll be coming to pole position, Jorge Martin. Can he make it? Back-to-back wins. He's been in great shape all weekend so far. Let's find out the pre-race thoughts as well for Johann Zarco too, from Pramac Ducati team boss Francesco Guidotti. I'm delighted to say he's with Simon on the grid.
He is. I'm just running around chasing him. He said something's happening. You could still talk to us, Francesco? Look, guys, something's happening. He's talking to his team. Something's up. I'll come back to you. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. You wonder, don't you, if there's a few worried faces down on the grid here at the prospects of what might just happen above us in the sky. We just saw their rapturous applause, of course, as you would imagine, for Valentino Rossi, his last ever race in Austria, coming up here in 20 minutes' time. Alex Rins exiting pit lane. What's in store for this man as well? Brad Binder from 16th on the grid last week. He came through to finish in 4th. He's 6 places better off on the grid today. Is there going to be a podium for the South African for the first time since he won in Brno last year? Francesco Guidotti is back and he's standing by with Simon down on the grid. Over to you.
He is. Francesco, I always have a good study on Saturday night, and it's the first time I have to say both your boys look super strong for today. I want to know what you think going into this race.
Yeah, we still have some very good chance with Jorge after the last weekend win, and we have also very good chance for Johan. So really confident to have a good race, despite maybe the weather that can disturb the race, but we'll see. It will be the same for everybody.
Francesco, best of luck. Hope to see you in Parc Ferme.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Thanks to Francesco Guidotti. Can it be a dream week for Pramac Ducati? Can it be back-to-back wins for Jorge Martin? Or can Johann Zarco find his way to the top step of the podium for the first time in MotoGP? You could see there, as soon as Jorge Martin jumped off that Pramac Ducati on pole position, all he was doing was looking towards the sky, some threatening grey clouds emerging. Fabio Quartararo, likewise, he comes to the second row.
Brilliant atmosphere here in Austria ahead of this Grand Prix. Fantastic to have full capacity back. This is the way we wanted it to go. As I mentioned already, the Monster Energy Yamaha team riding solo this weekend. All their hopes pinned on the World Championship leader Fabio Quartararo, second on the grid. But I wonder how worried they are about the skies. Maio Meregali standing by on the grid with Simon.
You said it bang on there, Steve. All your hopes pinned on one rider, but Fabio has looked amazing this weekend, really good. But I can see you looking up at the sky as well.
Yeah, you know, we have done such a great job until now, and as you noticed during the wet practices, we were not competitive as we are on the dry. For sure it's going to be a gamble, but I really don't like to hope, because in our sport we should not believe on hopes, but at this time I'm really hoping that the race will remain dry. This morning did an amazing warm-up. He put 12-13 laps in a row in an incredible pace. So at least if the race might start dry. Anyway, it's difficult to say, and let's see how the weather will look like.
Maio, just before I let you go, gotta ask, I've asked you this before, but I feel it coming. How hard is it going to be to battle the Ducatis in this race? You know, meaning, you know, it's one thing to put the laps together in a practice, but fighting those things down that straight is a bit of a nightmare for him.
Yeah, well, when we came here, we came here with the aim to try to minimize the loss. But last weekend we did great, and we could little improve the bike from the last weekend. And I think what did this morning, he really showed up that what we found, we pulled all of them together. And this morning he was super happy about the behavior of the bike, and also how he was being able to manage the tire degradation. So now we have good expectation for sure on the dry, a bit less on the wet.
Great news, Maio. Good luck. Hope to see you.
Thank you, mate.
It has to be said, thank you, Simon. There's a few pensive looks on the grid, a few anxious faces regarding what might just happen with the weather. You just saw the grid there. Most riders, as Piero Terramasso predicted, if it does go dry, opting for a hard front, medium rear. Couple of riders going for a medium front, medium rear. You just wonder, don't you, Matt? I mean, these guys will know whether the rain is coming. Will one or two towards the back just say, hey, I might actually start the race on softs here, go for it, because if the rain comes down, then we could be in a bit of a position to get a bit of an early grip. That could be seen as a risk.
Well, the only two men in the top 6 that went medium front, medium rear were both from the same camp, Pramac Ducati's Martin and Zarco. Everybody else in the top 6, including this man, Repsol Honda superstar Marc Marquez, had the hard front compound, symmetric of course in specification after the asymmetric was withdrawn last weekend.
Well, this guy will not mind at all if a few spits of rain start falling, would he? It would be he can even hear in there immediately he's mentioning the weather is Marc Marquez. There is no one better when the weather gets tough at getting up to speed than Marc Marquez, the likes of Jack Miller, Johann Zarco. They're names that immediately leap out at you in conditions like that. Alex Marquez as well, actually, also gets busy, much like his brother, when a few spots start coming down.
Probably a shot on the grid of Pol Espargaro. He'll be doing a rain dance at the moment. He wanted it to pour down last weekend. And keep an eye as well on the likes of Iker Lecuona, riders who've got absolutely nothing to lose. We're just looking at Miguel there with their 9th place on the grid, just ahead of his Red Bull KTM Factory Racing teammate Brad Binder. High hopes of a podium challenge potentially today from those two men. Let's find out from KTM Motorsport Director Pit Beirer, who I'm delighted to say is with Simon.
Yeah, he is, Pit. Amazing comeback from Brad last week. Miguel was injured, you know, and then had the technical problem. I'm really curious what you think is possible today.
Yeah, I mean, you followed us closely, and we had a difficult last weekend, and also this weekend was not super smooth, not super easy, but I think we regrouped quite well. We have, yeah, I mean, both guys in the top 10, I think a pretty okay start position. We had a really good another step overnight this morning in the warm-up. So I think we are ready to have a good race, to have a strong race.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck to Pit Beirer. You get the feeling those guys probably want this to stay dry as well, because Brad Binder's been very good in the dry weather. They've struggled a little bit this weekend so far in that wet session. Aleix Espargaro starting in 8th overall on the grid, looking for another top 10 here this weekend. It was not a weekend that went to plan 7 days ago here in the Grand Prix of Styria. He can put that right here today. Another rider going solo for his team. Of course, our best wishes sent to Lorenzo Savadori after fracturing his ankle in that incident involving Dario Pedrosa on the exit of turn 3 last week.
Alex Rins then with more work to do, qualified 13th last weekend. Exactly the same starting position today for the factory Suzuki man. Desperate to try and find a return to the top 6. That 4th place in Doha, round 2, seems like an awful long time ago now for the Spanish rider. You just got a sense from hearing him talk to media this weekend. He just desperate to try and find some transformation in fortunes, but work to do from 13th place, although if it's wet. Alex Rins has shown a couple of times in recent wet impacted races that he's got podium potential. It hasn't necessarily gone his way in Le Mans recently, but he's definitely got the pace to be there in wet conditions.
That's the Red Bull helicopter capturing all of these magnificent shots of the fans making all the noise. There's the grid. We just talked about Rins' chances and Joan Mir as well. Let's pop down on the grid because Simon's actually standing by with Shinichi Sahara now.
Yes, he is. Shinichi-san last week was a great ride to 2nd. I'm curious, does this week look better or worse in your opinion?
Yes, I knew we were competitive last week, and but also I know our rivals got more competitive after they make more setting up for their bike, and okay, it's going to be tough races for everybody, but we try to keep our head cool and okay, try maximum.
Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Simon, just a quick one from us in the commentary box. You've got the best view of what's going on at above. Does it have that feeling, like it often does, that there could be rain around?
Guys, till now today, it's been, if you're in the sun, unbearably hot. I've got all these salt marks all over my legs from sweating, you know, my black pants. It has been really hot. The Moto2 guys suffered. I could see it in Parc Fermé. That has gone. It's reasonably pleasant down here now. The track temperature will be dropping a lot compared to what the Moto2 guys put up with. That'll be making people, like you've just mentioned, re-evaluate on their tyre choice, because the medium rear tyre was the choice, you know. I'd like to say something else about that a little later. I mean, guys, it's so hard to predict around here, but I don't know if we're going to get through, like, the race distance, because, yeah, there's a bunch of big black clouds building over the hills close to the circuit.
Thanks for your observations, Simon. We could be in for a bit of a drama-filled afternoon here. No, we waited so many years, Matt, for a flag-to-flag race. It arrived in Le Mans. We might have 2 in 1 season here. Yeah,
you got a sense this morning during the warm-up that everybody was feeling that there might be some rain disruption around. So many riders doing flag-to-flag bike swaps. At the moment, coming to the grid, initial information from Michelin. The 2 Suzukis of Mir and Rins, the 2 Pramac Ducatis of Martin and Zarco on the medium front tyre. Likewise, this man, Alex Marquez.
Let's go down onto the grid then and get the thoughts of Piero Taramasso ahead of this big one. What does he think? Simon, down to you.
Yes, Piero, this is a difficult situation for everybody. It must be quite clear tyre choice if it's dry, but it could be wet.
Yes, actually there is some drops of rain right now. So the initial choice for dry race was hard front and medium rear for all the riders, except for Suzuki. Suzuki, they were looking for a medium front. Now there is some drops, so some they change strategy. I think Mark put soft on the rear because they are convinced that after a few laps the rain came down. So he tried to get advantage from the first lap with the soft on the rears. But now there is some drops, and if it's wet, for sure they will go with the medium front and medium rear wet solution, because it's the one more resistant. It will last also if the track is drying out or is a mixed condition.
Fantastic. Thank you for your insight.
Ciao.
Thank you very much, Piero Taramasso. This is getting a bit interesting, isn't it? Marc Marquez then, not a big surprise at all that he's gone for the soft rear tyre. There's a bit of rain in the air, and if it tips down, you just know those lights go out. Marc Marquez is going bullseye here. He is going absolutely for P1. There's a concerned look on Fabio Quartararo's face as well.
Yeah, spots of rain falling on Piero Taramasso. Simon Grayfire just reporting as well. He's also now started to feel those light spots of rain. Well, the forecast said bang on 2 o'clock, right when the lights are due to go out to start this 28-lap Austrian Grand Prix, was when rain was expected to hit this Spielberg track. Jack Miller, rain or shine, he's up for it.
He doesn't mind at all, does he? You just love Jack Miller. He's thinking, hello, this has worked out well.
Beautiful shot of the Austrian national flag being parachuted in by the Red Bull aerial display.
Yeah, and that's perfect timing as well, as we'll just stay silent for a while in the commentary box, because right on cue, it's time for the national anthem of Austria. They don't half know how to put on a show here in Austria. The national anthem there. Valentino Rossi fans are waiting to see what's in store for the 425th start. Is this man about to win his second Grand Prix of 2021? These are conditions he thrives in. Everybody else nervous on the grid. The only two men who look calm at the moment, Jack Miller and Marc Marquez.
Francesco Guidotti there just talking to Johann Zarco, pinpointing potentially where that rain's coming from. The aerial display goes on. Always a breathtaking sight in the build-up to this Red Bull Ring encounter. Jorge Martin again. Every time we pan down to the poleman on the grid, he's anxiously looking skywards. And it's not just all about the aerial display as well. He's just trying to work out and calculate when the rain is coming. 7 minutes away from race start, and that's exactly the time, 2 p.m. local time, when the rain was expected to bucket down here in Spielberg.
If it was to rain now and absolutely tip down, there would be a delay. I can almost guarantee you of that. But if this race gets underway in dry conditions, then of course we go into flag zone. There's still 5 minutes for that to change. We're 5 minutes away from the warm-up lap here in Austria. And just as soon as the rain can come, it can go as well, so it's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, we saw on Friday in FP2 how quickly the track dried up. Iker Lecuona even went out on slick tyres to set the fastest time. We saw there the Yellow Army out in force here in Austria to say their farewell to the icon, the legend, the superstar Valentino Rossi. There's younger brother Luca Marini as well. Not a lot of wet weather experience in MotoGP for Luca Marini. On board a race-winning motorcycle, though, here previously in Austria, EP19, which so famously won 2 years ago in the hands of Andrea Dovizioso. Another epic last corner showdown with Marc Marquez.
It's been declared a dry race, and so that means you have to start with your dry setup, and if it rains, of course, you'll be given then the signal that you can come in to change motorcycles if it starts to rain. Again, though, I repeat, if it was to absolutely tip it down with rain right now, they wouldn't be forced to start on slick tyres. Cal Crutchlow's probably thinking, oh, give me a break. I could do without a flag to flag on my return back into racing action.
Just the update from Michelin. As it stands right now, it looks like this man, Marc Marquez, really is rolling the dice. As we said, he's got nothing to lose. He can go for it. He's the only man at the moment, it looks like, that has decided to drop down to that soft rear tyre. Is that another tactical masterstroke, another moment of genius in terms of decision making from Marc Marquez and his Repsol Honda crew?
His shark eyes are out, aren't they? Marc Marquez is opportunity knocking, because if it is, Marc Marquez will happily smash open the door. Massive roar of support for Valentino Rossi as his name is mentioned by the circuit announcer.
Yeah, these will be emotional times for Valentino Rossi. Wherever fans are allowed through in the remaining races, you know that there's going to be a sea of yellow-clad fans as they come to say goodbye to Valentino Rossi. Or is it goodbye? He was talking pre-weekend about potentially not ruling out completely wild-card options.
1 or 2 trips to Italy may be lined up in the future. That would be an absolute treat. We are just moments away from the start of the warm-up lap here in MotoGP.
It's going to be a very pensive Fabio Quartararo. He knows that he has struggled in the rain conditions on that factory Yamaha. Likewise, Valentino Rossi. Those two in particular. They want this to be a dry race.
Well, it looks like the warm-up lap is going to get underway in dry conditions. You can see there on the visor of Joan Mir, the world champion, a couple of spots of rain. This is your front row then. It's all action here as ever in Austria. Pecco Bagnaia third. The world championship leader Fabio Quartararo will start from second, hoping that the rain clouds disappear quickly. And on pole position it is the rookie Jorge Martin. What is going to unfold here over the next 45 minutes? This could be drama. Will it be flag to flag? Who prevails? Who will be celebrating in the Austrian mountains later tonight? We've got a thrilling 28 lap